I don't buy a word of what the media is trying to sell us in regards to Joe Scarborough and his apology tour. You see this with Jake Tapper as well, with Hawk in his book, which I'm sure is going to make him a pretty penny, which he certainly does not deserve. Joe Scarborough was one of the most egregious, dishonest actors in the 2024 election cycle, particularly in regards to Joe Biden's mental acuity. Joe Scarborough is a MSNBC host. He was a washed up Republican congressman who, like many Republican congressmen, join the media, realize where their bread is buttered, and go to the left wing side and start bashing the same party they used to support. Now, in 2024, he said on his show, and I remember seeing this months before the disastrous 2024 debate, where Joe Biden said insane things like, we're going to beat Medicare. And he forgot basic facts and had to stammer off and couldn't finish his sentences. Just months before that, Joe Scarborough says, I've said it for years now. He's cogent. But I undersold it when I said he was cogent. He's far beyond cogent. In fact, he's better than he's ever been, intellectually, analytically, because he's been around for 50 years. This version of Joe Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. When you say insane things like this, there's no real amount of apologies that's going to make this okay, in my book. Someone who's willing to lie like this really can't ever be trusted. And if they can't ever be, it's got to be long. They've got to tell a lot of truths to get you back your reputation. And if you watch his show, he's certainly not getting it back by telling the truth. He says Joe Biden had good days and bad days, and he was simply misled because he insisted he never saw the bad days personally. I don't need to have a personal conversation, a sit down conversation with Joe Biden to understand that his mental acuity is not what it used to be. You look at him referencing having conversations with Margaret Thatcher, who's been dead for years, having recent conversations with the French prime minister or president who's been, you referenced one, like, who's been dead for decades. Now, I realize that Joe Biden just compulsively lies. So he probably knew that the conversation didn't happen, but he forgot that the person he was claiming the conversation happened with was dead. So it may not have been quite as bad as it seems. Still, between all the videos of him wandering off on stage, which Karine Jean-Pierre and many of his other apologists were saying were cheap fakes and deep fakes up until the moment it all collapsed down on him. You don't need to be a detective to figure this out. You don't need to have personal conversations. You don't need to be a medical doctor to know that he isn't as sharp as he used to be. And he's not nearly sharp enough to be the president of the United States. What exactly he has, Alzheimer's, dementia, side effects from some, cancer treatment, who knows? But clearly he is diminished, and he would not have been able to capably serve out another 4-year term. And they knew that then. The entire purpose of this is to try to salvage some sort of reputation with their own mostly left-wing audience who still believes at least part of what they say. Because Joe Scarborough gets paid millions of dollars. He has a show where I'm sure between the reruns and the clips on social media, he's sure he gets millions of views every day. People know who he is. He has a voice. And he's trying to rehabilitate himself so that he can once again lie to us and continue to spread his disinformation and hopefully this time not get caught. This is literally a cover up, a media cover up of Joe Biden's cover up. I have no sympathy for these people. And I just want to know, what do you guys think about this media tour? Do you think any of these people, media hosts, were honestly fooled? I'm nearly 100% sure Tapper and Scarborough knew what we know, and they were lying from the jump. But do you think any of them were actually fooled? Because I find it hard to believe any media host that follows politics genuinely was fooled. Now, I know some people in a personal life that, okay, you could say maybe they were fooled, but someone who actually follows politics, who's watching these clips, I don't buy it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below.